We all know 2020 was a wild ride, but we never expected that there could be so many blessings in disguise. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about the 5 major lessons that we've learned. Hey, hindsight 2020. Even though there have been so many things that have sucked, there's also a lot of wisdom that we can learn from. And we're going to share the things that we have learned this year with you. Stay tuned. Hey, we're Britt and Chris Carmichael, and you're listening to the Elevated Life Podcast. Throughout the 13 years we've been together, we've never ceased in our endless quest to better ourselves.
We've studied top experts, philosophers, and gurus. After years of personal self-experimentation, we found the tools for shifting your beliefs, moving through fears, and developing a positive mindset.
If you're ready for a breakthrough, then you're in the right place, because we're here to empower you to take control of your life with simple mindset shifts that create radical transformation.
We'll be diving into topics like personal growth, health, philosophy, spirituality, relationships, success, and mindfulness.
So create some space for yourself and get comfy. It's time to become the badass you were born to be. So I never thought in a million years, when I said that joke to you back in March at the beginning of the year when quarantine was happening, I guess we'll know who our real friends are. I don't know really what I meant by that, but it obviously turned out to be one of the lessons that we learned in 2020, is that it really showed us where people's perspective was. And if it was caught up in fear, it was really hard to align and spend time with those people. And we found ourselves stepping away from people that were aligning with this fear-based mentality.
Yeah, you really start to realize how important in your lives connections really are. And it's really to everybody. I mean, I don't think that I used to take my friends for granted. I don't think I've ever really done that. But like, when you cannot hang out with people and you cannot talk to people in the same way, and you can't hug them, which is, something that I've only been doing for the past however long I've known you, and your family made me hug everybody when I walked over there.
Hold on. Pause. Oh my God. Your mom took me out shopping one time when we first got together, and she said, "You know how I knew you were the one?" And I was like, "Tell me." Oh my God. I'm like 20. I'm like, baby. I'm like, tell me. I need to know. Validate me. She's like, "Because you sat in his lap in front of us." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" And she was like, "Yeah, and he hugged you." I'm like, "Oh, what? What are you talking about?" But I quickly realized what they meant is that you showed affection and you cared and you hugged me. You hugged me, and you started hugging your family. Oh my gosh.
So I never did that. So growing up, we never really hugged.
Connection,
yeah,
so important.
we never shook hands. And then I meet your family, and it's a bunch of European wackadoodles that hug each other.
Make out.
They kiss on the lips sometimes, and you're like, what is
twice?
I just never experienced that. So coming into the relationship was weird, because that was something that like everyone just did, and they so naturally did it. To me, it put me out of my comfort zone. I'm like, oh my gosh, people in my personal bubble. It was so weird. But now that I've done it for a while, you start to realize like we need that stuff in our life. Like we need to touch and be touched by friends, by people that you love, by people that you care about, and this was a year that didn't allow us to do that. So I made it a point to talk to and reach out to a lot of my friends that, especially some that I haven't talked to in years, and just tell them like, "Hey man, I love you. I've been thinking about you. I just want to let you know that like I care about you. I'm still here. If I haven't talked for a while, I'm sorry. I've been doing things. We've been running crazy." Mm-hmm. It's just letting everybody know like that connection matters so much. Like the more you get to your life into a space where a lot of the things that you're doing are connection based, everything starts happening, because so many more people come to help you. And if you have any kind of mission whatsoever, the people who are helping you are the people who are going to make that thing happen. It can't just be you. It's so much harder. I mean, I didn't know until now that connection, I mean, I'd always felt that way, but I hadn't experienced a loss of it. They always say that you don't recognize something's value until you lose it. And losing that this year really had me double down on how much I reach out, how much I talk to friends, how much I make them more a part of our lives, because I mean, that matters. It matters so much to feel a loving connection between you and another person. And it's just phenomenal. Even if it's not your partner. I mean, you have to do that too, but like your outer network also.
I mean, we were spending almost every Sunday over at my grandparents' house. And then when my grandmother passed last year, we made a priority to go over there every Sunday. And when all of this happened, obviously Grandpa's health is number one concern. And so he kicked us all out, and we haven't really been able to see him. Like, he'll do a drive-by occasionally, but we haven't had that like family connection, get together, like watch the Cowboys, like, you know, that kind of situation. Or even Thanksgiving, that was like super weird, like not being with family. And so having that taken away, I think has shown so many people a different perspective about what is important. And when we went to the Brendan Burchard conference, he said that in a study of longevity of people who are living to be the oldest ages, they found that the common thread was their relationships and connections with people. And I think that for me opened my eyes as to what is most important. We like, you know, we can be business focused and driven and like all the things and achievements and goals and blah, blah, blah. But what it really boils down to, if you really think about it, is we're all going to work not just to feel validated or feel like we have a purpose, or to make a paycheck, but it really is so that we can get that paycheck and do the things that we want to do, and that's be with the people that we love. And it would be so nice if they could just keep sending us government checks so we can just hang out like with the people that we love, because I think a lot of us did find comfort in, well, either comfort or chaos. You were on one side of the coin or the other. You either got closer or you realized that you have problems you need to work out.
What also made me realize is that because the connection part is so important, it's drastically integral to your life to start looking at who you're friends with. Is to start really taking a look, are these the people that I would like to spend my last days with? Are these people who are just acquaintances? Are these people who fill me up? Are they people who tear me down? Like, you really have to start and evaluate who you're spending your time with. Because if this is going to be the thing that helps you live longer, or the thing that helps you really progress further in your life where you want to be, it's going to be your friend group that is always there that gets you through all of that. You know, they're going to be there when it's the struggle. They're going to be there when it's the celebration. They're going to be there at those times. So you really have to love and nurture and grow those relationships. But it's really important to make sure that you're nurturing and growing a relationship that you want to continue having. Because the worst part is to spend a lot of time with somebody that you knew all along wasn't going to be someone who really filled your cup, or wasn't going to be someone who you could help fill their cup. And so you have to ask yourself, when you're with your person, or when you're talking to them next time, or when you think about them, like, where are those thoughts going? How do the conversations normally go? Is it 50-50? Is it all one-sided? One person just complains the whole time? Like, where are you at? And having a good inventory of that just shows you where you're going to focus more. Doesn't mean those people can't be your friends. Doesn't mean you have to cut them out. You can if you want. But it's about setting the limits as to what you'll tolerate. And it becomes so important to figure out, what are my boundaries and how can I enact them by just making good choices? Like, hey, I'm going to spend time with this person because I really like being around them. We have so much fun together.
Yeah, so shout out if you're listening. We love you. You're amazing. We're checking in on you. We're making sure everything's okay in your world. And for real, you can always reach out, shoot us a DM, a private message, and we're happy to support you on your journey. So what is the next lesson of 2020? This one I felt like was definitely one of your input on this one.
One of the things that we have to be prioritizing is our physical, mental, and emotional health. You know, in a year where people are getting sick, the people who got the most sick, the people who suffered the most, were people who either were much, much older or were not healthy. And so putting health as a focus, and not just physical, not just getting the body right, but the mental part too, because when we're talking about those fear-based people that we know, or the fear-based stuff that you hear on the news, when your life becomes all fear-based, when everything is just about doom and gloom, you set your brainwave state into the wrong one. and it doesn't allow you to relax. It doesn't allow you to find peace. It doesn't allow you to feel love. It's like setting up all these barriers. And the problem when you go to protect yourself is you don't let the good stuff in.
The connection, which is what we need the most.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about where you've struggled this year, what's happened, think about where that mental health was, because when the pandemic first hit, we did a huge,
14 days of elevation.
Yeah, they were all meditations. It was just daily meditation, coming there, getting quiet with yourself, feeling gratitude that you're alive, feeling gratitude that the world exists, that you have a place in it, that things are possible for you. And just being in that space for a little bit every single day makes a huge difference in the end. And so making sure that your health is always on the forefront of your mind. So many of us get so busy. We get so busy that we forget to do this. We can forget that it's something that's a necessity. This isn't something that you like put off or you just do one day a week. It's got to be something that you constantly coming in and working on those pieces of you that are lagging behind. And they're normally blaringly obvious. I mean, you know when something is wrong with your health. If not, ask your friends. They will ask your honest friend. Well, we all need that one honest friend who will tell us the truth. If you're Brit's friend, you know it's Brit. Because Brit will always tell the truth. And so
you're welcome.
find that friend and ask them. Be like, hey, have I been kind of emotionally crazy lately? Have I been, has my health been off? What do you see? And just ask them. That way you can get an honest opinion. We always have to have someone who checks us. So do that checkup. Check up with yourself, check up with your friend, and just ask them, just point blank, hey, just shoot it to me straight. I need to know so that I can work on it.
I love that so much. And it's true, when we think of health, like health is the first wealth, I automatically see an apple and I see somebody working out. And you don't really think about the mental or emotional aspect of health and well-being, but that's something I teach in Shine School about having like holistic health, a mind, body, spirit, harmonious balance. Because when we first met, I was doing all the right physical things and I was, mentally, my mind was there. I wanted to lose weight. I believed it was possible. I was working out all the time. I was restricting my calories. I was doing all those things, but I couldn't lose weight and I could not figure it out. And through meeting you, healing my own heart and learning more about myself and learning about being empathic and how I was protecting myself with actual physical weight and learning how to set better boundaries, all of the weight started falling off. And I didn't realize that there was like this trifecta of mind, body, spirit kind of thing that needed to happen. I was doing the body stuff. I was working on the mind, but I hadn't really allowed my spirit to heal, or the empathic energies that I had picked up and like all the anger and trauma and all the shit that like gets like wrapped up in our energy when we're in that environment. So it was interesting to find that all the weight just fell off when like that toxicity left my life and the anger left and forgiveness, like all the things started happening. And it was just crazy how all three had to come in balance.
We try a lot of times to single down something. We try to kind of dumb it down. But we are very much multidimensional beings in the sense that there are different parts and different sides of us. And if they're not congruent, if they're not talking with one another, if they're not on the same page, it's just like your main relationship. If the two of you aren't on the same page, no matter how well one of you does, the thing cannot succeed. It just doesn't. And so if your mental attitude is off, if you're always have that negative outlook, if you constantly feel overwhelmed, if your emotional stuff's off and you're always angry, you're always playing pity party, it always ends up you doubting yourself, that takes a physical toll on you because you will lack the energy you need to motivate yourself to do the acts you know you need to do. And so it's all systematic. Everything affects everything. And the more that we can prioritize that part of our body, I mean, you think about it, it doesn't take a lot to work out. It's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time to go for a little jog. It's not that hard to go really eat some good food in the kitchen. But people don't realize that those hours that you spend doing those activities pay off exponentially on all the other activities that you do. You sleep better, you live better, you work better,
you sex better,
and you play better.
Yeah.
And so everything becomes better. It's one of those small things that you can do that will benefit you the rest of your life. So if health and mental or physical is something that you got to work on it. Work on it. Reach out over this next year and just decide, hey, this is going to be my year. I'm going to work on this. I need this for me so that I can start to feel good all the time. I deserve to feel good, or at least I deserve to feel the best that I can in this moment. And it starts with you making that decision and then coming up with the game plan to figure it out. Make that happen. It's important to get that handled first.
And what's so great about the Elevated Life Club is if you make that decision and you want to prioritize your health, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional, there are masterclasses that cover all those topics inside the club, as well as yoga and meditation practices to help create that harmony in the body and the mind. And so we want to just let you guys know that the Elevated Life is filled with so much wisdom for people who are ready to make a change. It's not for people who are just going to listen to the fucking masterclass and be like, oh, okay, that's great. More knowledge. Great. Wonderful. It's for people who are going to actually the meditations in the masterclasses, I feel like are what creates so much powerful change in all of our elevators, and why they're so successful in making these changes and up levels in their life is because we're working on a deeper subconscious level, not just like here's more wisdom and tasks to do. So if you really are on the fence of making that decision of like, I really want to better myself, but I just don't know how, and that's maybe the thing stopping me from moving forward, this is your call. Like this is us as your friend saying, get your ass in the Elevated Life Club pronto, because we're here to help you grow.
Yeah, there are typically two things that keep you from doing it. You either don't know how to do it or you don't know what to do. And the Elevated Life was built so that you could have both provided for you. Because when we made this decision in our life, we just wanted to be better. We were tired of living that kind of life that we didn't love. We're tired of looking in the mirror and going, this again? And just that feeling of that, it was a despair feeling. I was like, I got to figure this out. I'm going to do it. And so the Elevated Life Club was what we did to make things happen.
Oh my God. Can you believe when the club was just me and you?
It was.
Okay, so the third lesson of 2020 was something that I contributed to the conversation, and that is waiting for your dreams is so worth it. I mean, AKA patience, but I really don't even like that word, so I'm just kidding. So all of the dreams that I have been working on in my time off, I work behind the chair at my successful vegan salon, and I've been doing that for 14 years, and over time, I've been taking one extra day off and one extra day off, and because I'm still balancing that career with building these new dreams and this new vision I have for myself, the Oracle deck, Shine School, the Elevated Life, like High Class Hippie Clothing, which if you guys haven't heard about that yet, we'll be launching our clothing for the soul new line called High Class Hippie Clothing. We are so excited for it. Oh my God, that's been a 2-year dream. And that is actually something we'll be talking about in the next lesson, is how that came to fruition. But honestly, so many great things that I've been working on have taken so much time. Like 2 years. I feel like I'm birthing an elephant over here. And I worked the last 2 years in my spare time on the Oracle deck. It was definitely a passion project that I poured so much heart and soul into. And there's no reason to do it. As far as no one's pressuring me to you have to do this thing. It was birthed from pure passion, pure love, pure just excitement. And all of the cards were actually lessons out of Shine School. So it was just another way to get my message out there about loving yourself and being authentic and true to you. And after creating the Oracle deck, of course, every month I'm like, okay, we're going to be launching soon. It's almost here. It's almost here. And then another month goes by and it's not ready. And another month goes by. I mean, how many projected launch dates did we have? 1,000?
It was nonstop.
It was so much. And it really just taught me how to go with the flow and just accept the pace in which projects can take when there are other people involved. And if you want to go far, what is that saying? If you want to go far, to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, like fucking hire a team, basically. Something along those lines. Whoever said that, kudos to you, because it's true. So I had a lot of people involved in the creation of this Oracle deck. And so it wasn't just up to me for the timeline to make it happen. And not to mention, the pandemic definitely slowed down production and shipping. And I ship decks to Australia and to Cyprus, Greece, and it took months for them to arrive. I thought for sure they got trapped in Jamaica for like 2 months. They were picking up the good vibes, but
that was definitely a highlight of the year. You mentioning it now reminds me of what that felt like when, here the deck finally comes out
on Valentine's Day.
The deck finally comes out. People are excited about it, and then suddenly
everything closed down.
Everything shuts down. But what was great was that the people who got the deck and the people who ended up reaching out to you on socials and saying like, hey, is there any way for me to get that deck? I'm in.
Oh yeah. They shut down international shipping.
Yeah,
like I literally launched and then the next month they're like, oh, international shipping. Nope. You can't do that anymore. So literally everyone international, and shout out to everyone like across the globe for all the love and support. It's incredible. But I've shipped so many decks internationally, personally this year. And I remember saying at the beginning of this, I'm not going to ship any of these decks. That's way too many. I got too much on my plate. I can't ship any of these decks. Well, guess what? My salon got taken away for a couple months and I had plenty of time on my plate. So that's crazy how it all came to fruition, but it was so worth the wait because it really did come out in the perfect time when the world needed it, not when I needed it, but when the world needed it. And that's the same for your dream and your gift. I know you're wanting to rush it, or maybe you haven't even started because you're afraid of failing or don't know where to start or XYZ excuse, whatever the case may be. But the truth is, if you put your heart and soul into the projects that you're passionate about, it is so worth the wait.
Yeah. What really made that worth it, besides seeing all the joy of it actually showing up,
and we officially sold out today.
But so many people messaged you a month after they received their deck, 2 months after they received their deck, and said, this could not have come at a better time for me. This really saved my life this year. Like that's the kind of like when you put your heart and passion into something and you do it in service of others, there's just something that happens. And we got to witness that a lot this year. You've got, I don't know how many messages about people who said that, the Oracle deck changed their lives and how much they've been living in such as a negative mindset for so long, but now they're pulling a card each day and it's reminding them that they matter. And it's reminding them that they've got to take care of themselves. And like seeing that and watching what it does in other people's lives is something that I did not expect. And it's something that is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it is beautiful.
I know, my little heart. It just makes me so happy. And honestly, if you don't even have the deck right now, you can go to the website and do a virtual card pull and get your own. Like when you said that, like pulling a card is a reminder that you're worth. Like, oh, I'm like, okay, can we like go put that on the sales page really quick? Because that's just the perfect explanation of what each card is a reminder that you're a fucking badass and that you are worthy of love. And having that tool available during a time where people were not mentally, emotionally, or even physically stable because things were changing. And, rightfully so, when your world comes crashing down or your job this or your partner lost this or so much can create chaos when you shift your schedule and literally your normal routine goes to shit and you have to start fresh. You have to sit with yourself, and those times really expose your darkness and expose those parts that you've been just sugarcoating or numbing or hiding away because you've been able to be so busy to avoid it. And this really gave the opportunity for people to kind of shine a light on that and see that, which I feel like leads us to the next thing. If we didn't spend our extra free time creating the elevated life, filming the videos, making the Oracle deck, creating Shine School, building this new vision that's soul led, we wouldn't, I don't know, it would have been a different year this year, right? Our main source of income for so many years has been the salon.
Yeah, it's that's the lesson here, is to pivot, and you have to be able to pivot, because if you've noticed, security is not something that we have, and security is not something that we need. if you're able to pivot, you're always secure. And so for us this year, suddenly we get the announcement that the governor is shutting down all salons and, you know, restaurants and everything, but the salon affects us. It is such a big part of our life. And not only that, it's a place where BRIT goes and has her time with women. I mean, she has an all women salon. And so like she gets time away from us just hanging out, you know, and even though I love us hanging out a lot, BRIT needs time to go and hang out with their women friends, you know, and do those kind of things and be part of that conversation. Because I mean, she's got a lot of chatty Cathys in there, and BRIT's the same way. I mean, she's cut from the same cloth as her mama. They are chatty Cathys. And so understanding that you don't almost never in life, and just as much as you do not want to put all your eggs in one basket. You just don't. And I'm not saying spread yourself thin. That's just as bad. But you want to be able to move and pivot when things go awry. And I mean, that's exactly what BRIT says. Hey, the salon shut down.
You know what we did literally the next day?
Down.
I know. You know what we did the next day? We fucking pivoted. And that's when we started 14 days of elevation. We thought, wow, we're actually going to have all this time, let's get on and help, and mental stability is probably off the charts right now. So that was when we were able to pivot and go, you know what, let's focus on helping people, giving them the tools they need to calm the F down. We know that meditations are powerful, that we did a lot of healing stuff. The heart, I think to date, the heart opening meditation was by far the most viewed and downloaded. And actually, if you haven't gone through the 14 days of elevation, you can go find that on YouTube. There's an entire playlist created for it. Highly recommend you start from day one and just go through the 14 days. We're going to even be doing a new live 5-day meditation challenge coming up for 2021. So be on the lookout for that. But it really allowed us to pivot. And when we did that, when we could focus all of our time and energy into it, what happened?
Everything blew up. And not only that,
our membership doubled.
Not only that, though, you know, the thing that we got really serious about was it wasn't so much, oh my gosh, the salon's down. What do we do now? What do we do? It was, how can we help? How can we reach out and help? How can we take what we've learned, what we've studied, what we've been teaching, what we've seen with our clients, what we've had success doing, and how can we go out and equip other people with those same exact tools? Because when shit hits the fan, you want to have a strategy, you want to have a way of dealing with it so that you don't just crumble inside. Because our bodies a lot of time just kind of want to curl up in the fetal position and just pretend like nothing's happening. But that won't ever solve any problems.
You know how they say fight or flight? I just came up with the third category because you know me. Flow.
There you go.
Why not? Fight, flight, or flow. And I think we allowed ourselves to flow this year and really pivot through all the different things. And because we were able to focus our attention and our energy into serving and being of service, which is what all of our online work and business is geared towards, it really allowed us to be of service and to step into that role and have no distractions. And because of that, you know, what they say, what you focus on expands. And it's been so beautiful. The podcast was born. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Shout out to all the listeners. Thank you guys so much for leaving your reviews, for posting and tagging us. You guys are the reason we do this. We would not sit in our closet on a evening when we could be doing all kinds of other things. Okay. But we love you and we want to support you and we appreciate you guys listening and sharing. And it just means so much to us.
Yeah. It's, you know, when you mention that and thinking back to on the retreats that we had this year.
My gosh.
You know, having...
Hey, let's just throw some retreats during the freaking pandemic. Okay, that's a risk.
But it was so much service and...
But everyone needed it. They needed that connection. I needed that connection. And it was so healing and life-changing and COVID-free. So that was amazing.
There's so much good that came out this year, man. You got me all in the feels now because just remembering back on all the little bitty things, and it really was, you got to carve out time for your dreams and you got to work on them every single day. You've got to put a little bit in. Doesn't have to be a lot, but you got to put a little bit in because you'll come to the end of the year and be like, holy smokes, I did it. Man, look at all the stuff that we did this year. This has been a hell of a year. This has been definitely, you know, it goes to our last lesson. That's to celebrate everything. This is the time to celebrate, you know, whether you struggled or whether you really succeeded this year. If you struggled, you overcame something. If you've been struggling for a long time and you're still here, you overcame something. That's something to celebrate.
Yep. Whoop, whoop.
But you got to celebrate. We had a bunch of big wins. We had a bunch of small wins. You got to celebrate every single thing in between, because really, sometimes it's the small wins that carry you through. The big wins are always cool, but it's the small wins that get you there, that keep you excited, keep you motivated, keep you happy about life.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. That's one of the lessons in the final module of Shine School, is celebrate the small wins. Because if you wait till the end to celebrate, you're going to burn out or give up by the time you get there, because you're going to lack motivation and like feel like you've accomplished something. Because if you wait to put that accomplishment or that sense of worth at the end of something, oh Lord, it's going to be hard to get through it. But one of the things that I do every year for my birthday is write myself a birthday card, and I write the lessons that I'm learning in life at that time. And, another celebration we had this year was our 10-year wedding anniversary. Whoop, whoop. You always said, we're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. We're never going to make it. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So we made it to our 10-year wedding anniversary. We're actually next week gearing up to go out to the woods, unplug, to celebrate our 14-year, together and our anniversary, and our little Rupert's 13th birthday, our little Chihuahua. So we're going to get away soon, and I'm so excited for that. Actually, we are staying at Getaway, not sponsored by at all, but would love to stay there for free anytime if they're listening. So yeah, going out to do the Getaway situation, and that was such a huge celebration. So many things to celebrate, but all that to be said, in my birthday card, I always write my lessons. And the lesson that I wrote, the major lesson this year, it was, life is to be celebrated, the highs and the lows simultaneously. Because I've had, amongst all these amazing things, like hosting our first 2 retreats and launching an Oracle deck, growing the team. We added another team member this year. It's been launching the podcast. So many things have happened that have been amazing. But we've also had a lot of tragic things that have happened this year, as well as just tough shit. And, currently my dad's going through some radiation and stage 4 cancer, not curable, kind of grim situation. This was the first year without my grandmother. There were a lot of things that really were challenging and testing, and I mean, hell, we went to Florida during the middle of a hurricane. Talk about being in the middle of a shitstorm. Just so many things. But despite that, we chose to focus on the good, and we chose to even celebrate the shitty stuff.
Yeah, because it's always the shitty stuff that makes the change. It always
makes you stronger.
Yeah, and it makes something in the future better. We always go through turmoil. We watch, the politics and everything that's happened on the world stage. And we're watching upheaval and riots and all different kind of things. And it's like, man, look at all the change that's going to come from this.
Yes.
There's going to be some change, and this is always an adjustment period. There's always people on both sides of the fence. But in the end, typically things turn out for the better. We figure out a new way. We are such survivors, as people. We've been here for a while. And it is incredible to see all the adversity and things that we have overcome. And the road in front of us, we're going to have a lot more to overcome. And so getting that health prioritizing the health, getting back into your connection, realizing that at any moment you may need to pivot. So don't be afraid of that. That's why you're always working on yourself all the time. Your skills are better. Your communication skills are better. You want to be, when you walk in the room, the VIP, the person that everybody wants to meet. Everybody's like, man, I wish I had that person on my team. And if you're working toward that, it's incredible, because the end of the journey is not very good. It's like when you go to a movie or you watch a TV series or something, and you're like, man, this is so exciting. And what happens next? And I'm so curious, and you're amped up. And the end comes and you go, oh, well, that was that. That's how the goals are and stuff too. So you have to always be enjoying that journey. Always just have something. Doesn't mean it's what you attach yourself to, but just have something and get going for that. And make sure you remember that your dreams take time. If it doesn't happen in the first day or week or month, it may take 6 months. It may be like BRIT's, where everything takes 2 years.
Fucking 2 years, man.
Who cares? The reality is this. 2 years is going to pass anyways.
100%.
It's going to pass. And so you may as well, at the end of the 2 years, have been working on that dream for 2 years, because you'll have something by then. You'll have to be like, man, this was really fun to do. Man, I really knocked myself out. Like, this gave me something to enjoy, to share with people. And if you're doing like what we're working on, get out there and help people with something that you're doing. Help people. And the dividends that it pays, not just monetarily, but just how you feel when you wake up and realizing that you played a part in someone's life. You lit up someone's day. I mean, shit, just reach out to somebody and tell them that you love them. Just listen to how people sound when they say, hey. And, they pick up the phone, they're like, hey, what's up? And you come on the other end and said, hey, I was thinking about you. I just want to tell you I love you. I mean, like, just how much that can do to somebody and how great that feels overall. Like, you got to start getting into that. This is a great time and a great moment to change your life. We're entering a new year coming up. This is a perfect opportunity for you to double down on yourself. For you to say, hey, this is my time. I want this coming up to be my year, and I want to turn it into something that can be amazing. Inside that it's not going to be necessarily easy, that there are going to be a lot of highs, and there are going to be just as many lows, and that's okay. You got to ride with the wave. Do not resist anything. Keep your head above the water. You can do it.
Yes, you can. And if you want to take it to the next level, come hang out with us in the Elevated Life Club so we can celebrate those highs and those lows, because they are coming, baby, no matter what. That's the cool thing about life, is that it is ups and downs. But if you can learn to keep your cool and manage and learn your balance and find your groove, which it is possible for you, then it's going to be so much easier to go with the flow instead of fight or flight. Boom. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Peace. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Elevated Life Podcast. Want more? Join us at theelevatedlifeclub.com for mindset upgrades, lifestyle hacks, and spiritual tools to elevate your soul.
Each month features a new masterclass, meditation, yoga practice, and more to help you transform your life one step at a time.
Come join the 7 or Above Club.